I've come from, I mean, I didn't play for 4 years. For me to come back to where I am and beat my career high is amazing for me. As soon as I was getting close to my goal, I was like, this could actually happen. I set myself a goal this year to be 250. And I sort of set that goal as in just like if I get there, I get there. But to be inside slams now is like incredible for me. So I feel like I've put in the yards this year and a lot of grinding.
What was going through your head? Because you pretty much started again. You were rocking on them.
So I just started small and I just kept making my way at it. Yeah, I just kept plugging away. I can't really say there was many positive thoughts going through my mind, if I'm honest. It was just like more of just getting through the day for me. It was just like, hopefully it would get better. But also just like talking to people that I meet and just like hearing their problems. Sometimes I go home and I'm like, like my life's not too bad. Yeah, it was tough for me to be positive, but I always thought that the universe is getting me ready for something bigger.
The weather cold, the weather so chill, chilly, willy, penguin feather roll.
I think we just started a clap. Welcome over. Well, we'll call it a big comeback story. I think we still got a long way to go, but I think if anyone, this is the second time that I've had Omar Jasika on, who's an up-and-coming tennis superstar. We're going to put it out there, and he's obviously went through a lot in his career, and we touched on it. So if you want to go back and hear the story, which it's on my podcast, but I'm sure Omar will give some context and throughout this anyway. So yeah, pretty much you're back. Yeah, you're ranked. You've just beat your record ranking, and now you're ranked 229.
Yep, 229. Yep,
which is insane.
Yeah.
And I'm just kidding. Like, fans, welcome.
Thank you.
And, it's being good mates with Omar. You obviously organised the first podcast for me, and that's how we obviously met. And, you've been in there. We're just having a laugh on camera with some funny stories, which I'm sure we'll
sure.
We'll touch on. But man, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean, I've had an incredible year this year. From where I've come from, I mean, I didn't play for 4 years. So for me to come back to where I am and beat my career high is amazing for me. I set myself a goal this year to be 250. And I sort of set that goal as in just like like if I get there, I get there. But to be actually, as soon as I was getting close to my goal, I was like, like this could actually happen, And to be inside slams now is like incredible for me. So I feel like I've put in the yards this year, and a lot of grinding. I've done a lot of grinding this year, a lot of traveling, and just really happy with how I have been this year.
That's wild, man. So pretty much you were off the tour for 2 years.
Yep.
Then you had COVID for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time to come back. The week of its comeback went into lockdown.
Yeah. I mean,
and it would have been tougher because the whole tour would have shut down. But then it would have been tougher because then I think only the top tournaments started to come back.
Yeah, I think you needed like I'm not sure what it is, but if you were like obviously higher up, you had like a special ticket or something to play and go travel around. But like for us guys, we obviously couldn't play. We weren't allowed to leave our houses. Yeah. So like it made it very hard, I mean, obviously it was already hard enough not playing for 2 years, but for COVID to come back during my first tournament is just like, I mean, something, it doesn't really happen often. It's like a 1 in a million chance.
So then, so you go through COVID. We probably had a conversation. Our conversation 18 months ago. So it was coming out in a sense, and I think you were telling me that you're gonna make the top 100. Like that you're definitely gonna get there.
Yeah.
Like that's 100% that you. I'm pretty sure that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
So to set your goal for 250, you obviously nailed that. Like what was going through your head, because you pretty much started again. You were
Zero ranking.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I didn't want to plan too much, so I needed a wild card to get into a future in Canberra, which I started in March. Actually, that's a lie, because I started playing small money tournaments, little AMTs around like Frankston and all that stuff, just to get matches and just gain a bit of confidence, because I haven't played in so long. So just to get the idea of match play again, and just feeling nerves and just, being around all that stuff again and seeing everyone was big for me. But yeah, like I said, I started in a future in Canberra. I qualified for my first future there. And then I made quarterfinals, which gave me 2 or 3 points. So then I got a ranking, which made it easier for my next future in Canberra to get in with my ranking. So I just started small, and I just kept making my way at it. You know, I just kept plugging away, and by the end of it, I started being seeded 1 at all these futures, and
So you were playing all these Australian tournaments, and then I think you spent a lot of time overseas this year.
I did, yep. So I went overseas I didn't really set myself a time frame of how long I was going to go for. I went for about 5 months in the end, 5 to 6 months. I was lucky enough to have my girlfriend travel with me because, as Fedja knows, tennis can be a lonely sport as it is. So traveling by yourself is like so hard because you're always alone and you're always dealing with emotions and all that stuff. Just having my girlfriend there with me helped a lot. Exactly, but just to help there with me, you know. And so we did 4 or 5 months. I started off in Thailand. I won my first future. So that was my first future in Thailand, and I won it. And I literally said to my girlfriend Hannah, I said, I promise, if I win a tournament overseas, I'll take you to Paris. Yeah. And I fucking won the first tournament. And she's like, so when we got to Paris, I was like, fuck me. So Hannah, if you're watching this, next year we're going to Paris, babe, I promise. Started off there, and then it was super hot in Thailand. So I played a lot of matches, and then played second week there. I actually had a little bit of a niggle in my back, so I made the quarterfinals and then had to pull out because I was sore with my back. And then I went to Greece, I believe, which is, by the way, one of my favourite places. Greece is phenomenal, fucking unbelievable. Mate, I've never had more food in my life. Unbelievable.
The food's crazy.
Unbelievable.
There's no rules. They try to do whatever they want.
And then I was like, fuck, I have missed the tennis life, you know? I was like, this is good. Oh, this is unbelievable. And then I played unbelievable. So I won my first tournament in Greece. Yeah, so I won another one in Greece. And then I screwed up my entries for the second week. And I just played doubles that week. So I couldn't play, which was good because I could just... We were staying it was at a resort. So I'm not sure if you've been there. Heraklion?
No.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, is it Heraklion? Because I feel like Harry's mentioned to me tournaments. So
he's. I'm not sure he's from there, but they've got Stefanos Tsitsipas court. So I was playing on his court, which was unbelievable. It was cool, and he's loved it. They love him there. He's like a god. But this resort was beautiful, and it was actually nice to take my girlfriend there as well. So it's like sometimes tennis tournaments can be a little bit, you know, the place is not the best. Like, yeah, I mean, Greece was a good shout. I think it was a good,
Well,
might try to add that to the schedule next year.
Well, what do we say? Bad? Like, what do we talk?
Oh, I mean, like, as in. You want to jump in with me?
My worst. I don't know. I always found that I played the best in the worst places
because
there's no other distractions.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So, like when I was. Like, for example, Georgia, the little country near, I think it's near Russia.
Yeah.
I remember going there with a couple of the other boys, and before we got off the plane, they're like, where the fuck are we? And I'm like, you're looking out, you're like, you get in the car, you're with some bloke that's speaking no English, you're driving through a forest at like 11 p.m. at night. You get to this town.
You're like, we're getting murdered.
I'm passing. I'm like, I'm just trying to like. There's no reception. The guy speaks no English. He pulls over some house. Anyway, you get to this village like 2 hours away from the capital. There's no roads. There's no street lights, and just puts you in the shack. I always played the best there. I played the best there because there's no distraction. But whenever I think about any time we're in a big city and you know the option of going somewhere and going out.
Yeah.
And you know, there's nice restaurants and whatnot. You're kind of like, well, even if I lose, I'm like, I'm alright with it.
Yeah.
I have to say.
But it's always nice to be in a nice tournament, you know. You play a match and then you go out for a nice dinner. Yeah. But I do know what you're saying because there's no distractions. So like, there's some bad places and some really nice places. So it's just, you know, I mean, you just gotta put your head down. Yeah, exactly. You know, there's gonna be some bad places all the time, but
how do you guys even find just traveling all the time, man? Like I was watching you jumping around absolutely everywhere, and then you just look at the top 100 pros, or just tennis players in general. That is just week in, week out, you're here, you're there.
For them, it's a little bit different because they do the same schedule every year. So they know where they're going because obviously they're in the same rankings, top 100. So they've got all the same, for them, the same tournaments all year round. So they sort of know where they're going to go. But for us, well,
just more of a general basis.
Exactly,
like,
and
the schedules are so filled.
But for us, we had to sort of like plan our own tournaments, and some weeks you're not sure if you're going to get in here because your ranking is not high enough, and it just all varies. So it's a bit of a last minute thing. So like that's why it's so expensive when you go to Europe, because I was booking flights last minute. And which obviously when you book flights last minute, it's double the price, you know. So it's just, there was a little bit of it just wasn't ideal.
And it's tough as well trying. If you're not in the top 100,
exactly.
Even if you're ranking, you are ranked number 229 in the world at the moment. Like that is actually crazy.
I know.
If you were ranked,
and the world's massive, and the amount of tennis players in this world is ridiculous. There's so many tennis players.
There's so many players that you'll never hear about. That were so good. Or like couldn't break through for whether it was. Okay, some aren't good enough to break through, but then there's also so many that are good, but then they financially can't. Traveling and playing the tournament.
And you do realize that when you go to Europe and see these guys, like these guys are like not ranked as high, but they're fucking good. You know, they are so good. They always put up a fight, and it's just they can't really travel, so they just travel around Europe and all those small places. They've never been to Australia. I'm not sure if they ever will come to Australia. You know, like they're always like, "You're so lucky. I wish I could go to Australia." For us, it's like we're just so lucky here, you know.
You see so many guys. I remember when I was playing in the Europe, they'll buy a van and they'll travel and live in a van. They can't afford a hotel or like even a hostel or anything like that. They'll have a bed set up in a van, and they might be with a parent or a coach, and they sleep in like. And they're still like if you watch them hitting, you'd still probably think that
because they're so hungry, you know. They're just so hungry to make it and determined. So I think that's where it's different. There's Europeans, you know, so hungry.
Is it an Aussie tennis player? I think there was a story. I think earlier this year in the Oz Open or something, he won a match. Was it an Aussie? And he was pretty much homeless at a point or something like that. I know.
Not sure.
I'm basically
not sure.
Match.
An Aussie?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was an Aussie.
Not too sure.
It was just
It
was just a guy that made a comeback on the tour, but
not too sure.
I'm just random. But it's just more the base. Like you're ranked number 229. Like if you were the 229th best soccer player or basketball player or
you know. I'll be on a fucking
10 mil plus.
Unbelievable salary.
10 mil plus.
We're doing the podcast in the
Like that's just wild.
It's true though. It's like fuck. Man.
Like that's what just doesn't make sense in that sport. It's so hard to make it, and like there's just no support, even in the aspect of flights and things like that. If you're not top 100, you've got to pay for everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is tough like that, you know. It's like you said, like if you were ranked 2029 in soccer or anything, you'd be making so much more money. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
It's just like the way it's like. It's just so divided, you know. Like the top 100, obviously, it's good because you're in slams and all that, so it's better money. But anything outside of that, you're really hustling. Really hustling.
It's let's go to the actual basis of like being rock bottom. Like being like, can you just like give everybody a bit of a rundown of like what that was like, and like what were you even telling yourself? Like I'm like I'm gonna use myself for an example. Like this year hasn't been the greatest for me in a sense. You know, business wise, you know, I've made some things that haven't, you know, probably been the right move or whatever's gone wrong. Like whatever's happened to me, and in my head, I've been pretty hard on myself. And it's probably the first time ever that I've actually, you know, really been going really aggressive to myself. And, you know, obviously I feel like I've been translating out to the world, which at some points hasn't been great. So like even just for myself, like, you know, your position.
Oh, it was definitely a dark time for me. I can't really say there was many positive thoughts going through my mind, if I'm honest. It was just like more of just getting through the day for me. It was just like, hopefully we'll get better, hopefully we get better, hopefully we get better. But also just like talking to people that I meet and just like hearing their problems sometimes. sometimes I go home and I'm like, it's like my life's not too bad, Like I'm living in a house, like living with my parents, I'm not paying rent, like just the small things, So it was more like, just like, it was tough for me to be positive, but I always thought that the universe is getting me ready for something bigger. That's how I just thought, and I mean, life would be boring if it was just perfect the whole time. You sort of need these ups and downs in life, I feel like, it makes things interesting, Because if it's just like this, then it's a bit boring,
Yeah.
You gotta fucking learn, There's gotta be a few speed bumps along the way for you to,
Some trials and tribulations.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it was a very dark place, so I don't wish that upon anyone. But, I mean, every day does get better, You might not see it tomorrow, but eventually it does. But also you have to do it yourself. You can't you got to change something. You got to find out what the whys around your life and change what's happening for you. But for me, it was just to try and stay happy and just coach once a week, stay still around those tennis people, keep in contact with tennis guys. And eventually I started training a bit more and just coming back and And now I just use how I used to feel into my tennis now.
Okay.
So for me I don't want to feel like that ever again. This is why I'm doing all this now, and it's like sort of driving me to succeed,
That's interesting.
Bit of a weird one, but
Yeah, no,
it's the way I sort of...
It's brilliant. Well, it's working for you.
Yeah.
Did you were you ever close to like quitting the game?
I probably was, I just wasn't really sure what I'd do with my life because I don't really have any degrees or anything, and so I always knew that there was a chance I was going to come back or just maybe even coach. But I knew that I was definitely going to give it one more shot, for sure.
Yeah, when you know you've been to that level of, you've played Australian Open, not only played Grand Slams, but won first round, and you've played against the top guys.
Yeah.
Played Nadal, Ferrer, Tsonga.
That's fucking crazy.
Like Nadal,
That's
one of the
really
greatest
crazy,
players ever. When you know you've already been there, I think it'd be stupid not to give it another crack.
Exactly,
Even though it's like you've gone, 2 years off, and then like you know what it takes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've experienced, you went through so many different other experiences through that 2 years. Like we were doing like jobs together, bartending.
Factory work, bartending, mate. I was
together,
working as a promoter at a nightclub. Like me thinking about that's like, what the fuck? It's like
driving to a warehouse to deliver fridges, and then bartending like the races.
Yeah, I remember, mate. We did the races.
But I think I always
my hands were sore from opening that can. It was cans every day. I had like an imprint on my thumb from all the cans.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
What was like? So you just finished tennis?
Yeah, I was kind of like in the same sort of position. Obviously, I never got to the level that you got to, where you're at now. But I was like, I think I came back from Europe. I was going through injuries, and I was like on the fence about what I wanted to do. I didn't like coaching. I was doing this bartending gig on the side, and
Promoting the nightclub.
No, I wasn't. I was funding the nightclub.
I was working in.
I was there. He was giving me free entry. Few drink cards, but and then I was like in a position where I didn't know what to do, so I was just doing anything to try and make a bit of cash. And I knew he was in a position, and I wanted to make sure that he kept busy. So I understood that he was, in a tough spot as well. So I was like, look, man, like we both need to make money. Like come to
absolutely, and it also got my mind off things.
I guess your mind off things, but I think then it also shows you like you meet so many different people doing other jobs, and it also shows you as well like how much like you look where you were, and it makes you feel so grateful for the position you're already in prior once you start.
Exactly, but it's also nice to be out of the tennis scene a little bit, and just do other things that like out of my comfort zone, like I've never done before, like being in the factory or just like bartending, like it's so funny to say to me because I literally have never thought I would be.
I was there. I used to sit there.
I put my fucking high vis on in the morning.
Show up and be like, what is my life coming?
Honestly,
6 a.m. in the factory. And it's so like, I was always there and like the other guys, the thing is like the other guys actually never knew what my history was. So they just saw me as a normal person, So it was actually good in that way, just to like, I can ramble shit with them and they don't ask me questions about what's happened and all that stuff. So it was good in a way, but yeah.
Well, I'm pissed myself because like the story that you were telling us off camera.
Oh, the one, yeah.
You were.
So they gave me a truck the first day I was there, and he goes, "Here you go, mate. And he gave me the address. He goes, "Here you go. You're gonna deliver this bunk bed with this guy. I still don't know his name. You're gonna go there and you deliver this bunk bed and you're gonna install it." So we go there. It's like, mate, it's, I don't know, an hour and a half away, 2 hours away. So I'll drive. I'm getting to know this guy. Blah, blah, blah. How's your life? Yeah, my life's pretty good. And we finally get there, and the family or something, they go, "Oh, straight through here. Do you mind just installing in this room?" No worries. We took out all the pieces. Once we saw how many pieces there were to install, we were like, my lord. Anyways, so they gave us like a sheet with all the instructions. There was like 100 steps, or if not more, like to all this. So we got a drill, and then by the 50th step, like, I'm sorry if this family is watching, but we started drilling random holes in the bunk bed.
Just hold this thing.
And they were like, yep, all good, thank you.
We probably just collapsed.
As soon as we walked out, just...
Oh my god.
Because we were there for hours.
Yeah,
and we were drilling.
You're like, fish. What am I doing here?
Yeah. And from that point, I was like, you know what? Being down a break point is not that bad. I was like, no, it's not bad at all. Like,
that's wild, man. Like even to the extent, like I feel like it's just being an athlete. You're in your own bubble. Like whether it's soccer, AFL, tennis, whatever it is, you're in your own bubble in this world. And like, how did you adjust? Even you, Fedge, like doing it. You're on tour pretty much. You know, you're playing your whole when you were younger, and then you stopped. You know, you stopped 23 or whatever old you were. How did you guys find like trying to adjust? And...
It's such a long, like the thing is because we've been playing for over 15, 20 years, you know?
Yeah.
So it's all we know how to really do. So I feel like you just got to keep pushing, you know, until like you work out what you really want to do with life, or, you know, you just keep going, or you just fucking bite the bullet and just, you know?
Yeah. I think
there's no really in between. It's either all in or no, like you can't really half-ass it.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of players, like a lot of guys that I know, that are still playing, or like, you know, it's tough because you've grown up your whole life playing this sport.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so many guys that I've known from like when we were 9 years old that I still see to this day, and it's all they know, and they get to the point where it's like, you probably know you should maybe stop.
Yeah.
Like it's maybe not the right thing, but at the same time they don't have anything else to fall back on.
Yeah, and you sacrifice so much, you know.
Either they didn't finish school or they don't have degrees, and it's like it's kind of hard. And even for me, it was pretty tough. Like when I stopped, I'm like, well, what do I do? Like, I don't really know anything else apart from playing. Like I could go coach, which I did enjoy to a certain extent, but I feel like a lot of people just go down the coaching.
Exactly, yeah, because they don't have many other options.
They don't have other options, but at the same time, if you actually enjoy it and you know what you're talking about, you can do very well coaching, which we've seen through a lot of our friends that have started up their own coaching businesses or opened up a club. But yeah, I think it takes a bit of time to figure out after what you want to do, or it's tough.
You ever get like I don't know, like you kind of see it where generally a lot of athletes they really struggle to get back into the real world with everything that's been happening. And, do you have any like friends that have like, or just?
Not really. I mean, like Fedge said, like it's just tough once you really don't know what you're gonna do. It's just like that coaching path, you know. I mean, I think, I mean, hopefully one day I can make a name for myself and open up an academy or something, you know. That's what I'd really like to do, or even, I'd actually like to write a book about my life and just to inspire others, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just people that are struggling, there's always like a rainbow on the other side.
Well, your story's insane.
Yeah, or just to help younger kids that, you know, don't fall into a bad crowd or anything like that, you know. I'd like some public speaking, motivational speaking, something along the lines of that.
Like, what do you attribute, like, your comeback towards? Like, what's, because it's insane. Like, what, has there been anything in particular, anything different? Like, yeah, what's, like, has anything changed this time around? Like, I'm sure that there's been a few things.
Yeah, I think I'm just a lot more wiser and more mature, if I'm honest. I see the world a lot differently now to when I feel like I know myself. I feel like you don't really know yourself until you're about 24, 25, you know? So I think I was just a bit young, dumb, you know, but also because I was doing so well at a young age, so I feel like that got to my head a little bit, if I was honest.
Okay.
I feel like that sort of, because they pushed me so much, so quick, and I feel like I just got a big head and I just lost myself, you know?
Okay.
I felt like I was already there and I had all these options and, you know, I wasn't really, I feel like I lost my way a little bit, for sure.
That's interesting. So what, all the noise you were just...
Yeah, because after I won the US Open Juniors, that kicked up such a big, you know, I was like, I think I was the first person in 37 or 38 years to win singles and doubles. So I think that sort of got to my head a little bit. And obviously
Junior in the world?
I finished at 6. Finished 6 junior in the world, after that. And then obviously I think I played Australian Open a year after that, a year and a half after that, which I was still, and I won a round. I think I was 18 or 19 when I won a round, maybe even 17. So obviously like all that stuff, you know, goes into the same thing. And I think it sort of, it got to my head a little bit. And just took my foot off the pedal a little bit, if I'm honest. I just thought that I sort of made it, in a way. And just fell into a bad crowd, and then just
And then just spiraled.
Yeah.
In particular, like we stayed at our mate's house last year.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was lockdown, so there was nothing to do, so we were just having a good time.
Knocking back glasses of red.
Playing COD and just messing around. But then we went into the new year, like, that was like a big switch, like,
we had,
not to roast you or anything,
of course.
Like, you look like a bit of a balloon.
Yeah.
Like we all did. I walked out of that house like 8 kilos heavier. And I was like, shit. Like it was, and then like I've never seen someone gain and lose weight so quick. Like biggest loser you would have won, like hands down. Like I'd seen him for like, we got out of lockdown and we went like, obviously it was probably like, I don't know, December or something, and I kind of like, I left the house and then I probably didn't see you, like left you, and the next time I saw you had like a 6-pack. But what was like that switch, like what were you doing when that, like
I said, I was just like sick of
0 to 100.
I was just sick of feeling like that. Like the amount of chats I had, like we would have a few glasses of wine and like, Fedge man, like I don't want to feel like this. I'm like every time
I don't want to feel like this.
I was like, Fedge, I just want to do more with my life, you know. And I just didn't want to let everything go to waste, if I'm honest, you know. Like
we told you.
It's just sad because I've had so many friends and like close people always say, Omar, when are you coming back? And that just helped me, you know, just to see how much support I've had over the years. It's actually incredible to see how many people believe in me still after what's happened, you know. And I thought, it's just, I mean, people have forgotten about what's happened, you know, and they still see like a tennis player in me. So, but what's changed was, I think like those chats that I had with Fedge, I was like, Fedge, I just don't know what I want to do. Do I want to give it one more shot? Do I start working and just, you know? I tell myself I never really I just thought I'd feel a lot worse once I grow up, saying that I guess she gave it one more shot, you know? 100%. Now that I can say that I've tried, you know?
Yeah, and I always said to you, it was like, this is probably the best thing that's ever happened to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, had you not gone, like, what you're going through right now, it's like...
Exactly.
Everything's happened for a reason.
Yeah.
And then look, like a year later, like it was literally probably this time last year when we were like having these chats, I'm like, bro, just like stick to it, you know you're good enough. Everything's happened for a reason.
Absolutely,
Use this for your benefit, or you can like just let it keep bringing you down.
Exactly, and the thing is, my girlfriend Hannah, she actually made a very valid point that she said, with the way that your life was going when you're younger, who knows, maybe you could have hurt yourself or hurt someone else in the process, you know? So it's almost like this was a blessing in disguise for you, that this has happened, slowed you down a little bit, for giving you all this time, and now you can come back, mature, and, you know, see life differently, and hopefully not make the same mistake, you know?
So it was you were like 3.5 years, pretty much. Just
Yeah.
like 3.5 years.
Yeah.
That's just like every day you kind of feel.
It did.
Right?
Yeah, but it was just like, because growing up, I was never really allowed to do much. So I was never really allowed to go out and all this stuff, because I was tennis, so tennis focused. So then once I turned 18 and I had that, you know, when I was allowed to start going out, a bit of freedom, I was like, you know, here we go. This is pretty nice, you know. And then you start getting introduced to all this different stuff, you know, freedom, and it's just like,
meeting people.
yeah, exactly. And then you just sort of,
You've also got now this thing behind you of being like a professional tennis player.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
yeah.
Some people like
You get-
starting to notice.
Yeah, so I think it's just a balance. You got to find that balance of freedom and just still being a tennis player. But like I said, I was so young, and you don't really know yourself until you're about 25 and what you want to do and what's right for you and what's good and what's bad, you know. You sort of just tend to say yes to everything when you're young, you know.
Yeah.
You don't really think about the pros, like the consequences.
Yeah, bloody oath. So COVID was a blessing in a sense.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
That's amazing.
I mean, it didn't really help anyone, so it's not like I was the only one affected by it, you know. The whole world was.
Yeah.
I mean, never really thought that would be in this. None of us, you know. Global pandemic, like no one really saw it coming either, so it was just out of the blue. But you know, we all had to suffer, and we've all come out of it, you know, positively, and yeah.
Was there like a trigger in your mind that just like, I don't know, that just got you like did something just happen that just made you turn a corner in a sense, or was it always we were just like, as soon as this time kind of comes and once I can give it a go, I'll just run with it?
Yeah, that's what I thought, and that's why I started playing these little AMTs at the start of the year, and then I actually won a couple of them, and I was like, wow, like all these guys have been playing for like so long, and like I've come back and like won it, so like obviously I still have.
Out there grinding my heart out just to win one. This guy comes back. It's like 1-6.
And I was like, and I was like matches are flowing under my belt. Like I feel a bit more confident, and then I started like winning a few more futures, and then I was like, just like matches under your belt, like. And I was
It's
like,
made it seem so easy. Like it was just crazy. Like I was talking to like our mate as well in regards to it. No one's out here just like win after win, like picking these titles. I'm like, no, I couldn't get past first round. Like he's won more matches in a year than I won in my career.
That's
crazy. I ended up playing, I think, 100 matches this year.
Oh wow.
100 matches, yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I ended up getting to about 100 matches, including everything this year.
What was your record like?
Not too sure, but it was pretty good. Yeah. It was high. It was something like ridiculous. Like, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
100 matches.
100 matches. Yeah.
How did you go?
I think it's the most I've ever played, even like back when I was playing.
You look like you're a bit red. So how did you go getting back into the sun?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I've always liked being in the sun. Yeah. I loved it. And so obviously tennis is a summer sport, so you're always in the sun.
Yeah, so it's not like you didn't struggle to get back in.
I mean, my fitness did, but apart from that, I was alright. Mate, I was moving like a whale out there. I was huffing and puffing. Yeah, it was not good.
That's funny.
But yeah.
Well, man, this 2023, what's it looking like? You're starting off with a bang. Your ranking is good enough to be qualified for the qualies of the Australian Open.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, what are you looking?
Well, the goal for me next year is obviously I want to crack top 100. If I'm honest, I feel like my game is there. I feel like mentally I'm there. I don't really see much that can stop me trying to get to my goal. And hopefully just next year, just inspire a lot more other people. I sort of want to get my story out around the world, or just to inspire other people that are struggling, you know, maybe even like, not sure if like just sport related, but also like outside of sport. Just get my story out, and yeah, maybe write a book. I'd like to write a book.
100%, bro. Like even with my stuff, man, listening to your story, like it's inspiring, man. It's actually insane, and it's wild because you are so close to literally just now being on the cusp of just flying.
Yeah,
absolutely flying. There's no reason why in a couple of years' time you know, you can't be even just, I don't know, going deep in a grand slam.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're literally going, and you're 25?
25.
25, yeah, so you're still so young, man.
Yeah. Tennis, I feel like.
Now it's changed, yeah.
It used to be like, what, you'd say 30, 31.
Yeah.
Like when peak players probably started to retire.
Yeah.
But now
People
it's like
peak at 30 now.
Yeah, I think the average age of top 100 is like
Yeah.
28.
Yeah, you're right.
30.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
I think
It's
that's
changed
like
so
the
much,
average
yeah.
Yeah, wow.
That's maybe that's when you got that.
Yeah.
Have I inspired you?
Yeah. What do you reckon? And couples in the
Yeah.
That's in circus.
Man, how do you deal with haters? Because you were posting a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man, it's like people can be brutal in this world. Fuck me. Like, excuse my language, but people can be so brutal. Like, some of the shit that I've copped on my phone, I've never even thought about saying to someone else. Like, I'm not going to repeat it, but it's just like so bad. But
always raw and
yeah. So like I've turned my notifications off on Instagram just because like after every match there's always something. Even if I win, I get abused or like.
Yeah, because that's why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So even if I win, I get abused. But obviously once I lose, it's a lot more than. But yeah, I'm so used to it now. But like obviously, if you lose a match and you sometimes read it, it does get to you a little bit because it's so brutal and like just so directed at you. But I mean. Exactly. Everyone goes through it. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine what Roger and those top guys, get. Like, yeah, even Nick. Like, I mean, it's probably definitely a lot worse. Yeah. But yeah, I just sort of try and block it out. And I mean, at the end of the day, they're the ones that are sitting on their couch doing this shit. Yeah. Like they're stressing over you playing. It's like, yeah, I just try and block it out as best I can.
Nice, man. What drives you?
In life?
Yeah, just in general.
I think good company, good friends. Like I've got a beautiful girlfriend now, so like I think just being happy and and just I'm happy that I gave myself another shot and that I've tried tennis again because I was born to do this. I was always born to be a tennis player. So to give this another shot is just like unbelievable for me, and to be where I am today, sitting with all you guys as well. Sharing my story. It's like unbelievable, yeah.
I love it. Like, what does it mean to you, to even just get back into even playing balls? Obviously, you want to qualify.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I was actually last year. I was in St Kilda and I was watching on the TV, and all the last few years I've seen all my friends play the Australian Open and it's all. Yeah, and they're always doing so well, and it was very sad that I grew up with all these guys like Zverev and Rublev and all these guys, and they're in top 10 or whatever, and just to see them every year, it was just sad, on TV. So I was like, why can't I be there? I've been there before. Why can't I get there? And to be from watching to playing in 1 year is like it's crazy.
Right. So who was kind of who was in your top 10 in your
So it was like Rublev, Zverev.
These guys are all top 10.
Yeah, Kachanov,
Grand Slam.
Yeah, never. Alcaraz wasn't there. He was a bit younger, but all those guys. Berrettini, TFO.
These guys are all top.
Yeah, top 15, top 20, the top 10. Yeah.
Top 3.
Yeah, and I've been in these guys before. Yeah.
When you're watching them, obviously it hurt, but really, what are you telling yourself?
It's just consistency is such a big thing in life. I feel like if you're consistent of whatever you do, you will get to where you are. Like you put in every day what you do every day, you will get to where you are. And these guys have just been consistent for much longer than I was, so that's why, and they're in the position where they are now, So I think, I don't know. I was obviously sad seeing all those guys, but I just told myself, just keep pushing. You can't really focus on what they're doing. You got to focus on yourself at the end of the day. Do what's best for you. Everyone's got different paths they take in life. So.
What do you think the barrier, all the difference is from the top 250 to the top 20? What separates?
I think the mental side. Mental side is a lot. It's just putting, the intensity they put in every day, and just they do the small things, in terms of like they'll do extra fitness or an extra tennis session, or
Even like
they will
stretch.
they'll sacrifice an event, or just to go train. It's just the small things they do that leads up into
Like a little. So
just consistency. I feel like if I had to
when you say even mental, like, is it like just?
I feel like the way they carry themselves is a lot different to someone that's 250. They know what they're there for. They mean business. They're there for work. Like, this is their life. If they don't do this, then
There's confidence behind it.
Exactly, like-
you notice, like even when I was playing, like just the futures showing up, like those guys at the top seeds.
yeah,
I did like.
yeah.
I was just like you
There's
didn't even
like
have to know that you didn't know him, but you're walking past him, you're like, all right, this guy's
It's good. Or
probably, this guy's probably really good, and he's probably one of the top seeds. You check the draw, you'll find out he's
Exactly,
probably one of the
yeah.
top. And you just sense it by like the way they walk, like
Yeah.
what they do,
yeah, the way they carry
warm
themselves.
up,
Yeah,
everything, like all the small things, like you notice. Like even the small, like I remember one of the boys, Chris. I remember traveling with him, and
Chris
he was-
O'Connell.
Yeah, so
yeah,
he was
which
a-
he's a top 100 now.
yeah, top 100 now. But I remember traveling with him, and then I stayed with him. I was lucky enough to stay with him for like 2-3 weeks, and we went to dinner.
Yeah,
And he was only, I think at the time, about, I'd say 800 in the world. But the small thing was, we'd go to dinner at a restaurant. You're like at a restaurant, I'd order like a nice pasta.
yeah.
And maybe a Coke or something. And this guy's
I
getting-
get on the pizza and a Coke.
And this guy's ordering grilled chicken, grilled veggies with white rice and salt and pepper. And I'm like, and then after, I'm always swinging past the supermarket getting an ice cream. And he's like, I haven't had an ice cream in a year. I'm like, and then and seeing like that, I was like, oh shit, like, and he's not even.
That's what it takes, yeah.
At the time, it's like, he wasn't even, we were playing the same tournament in a, I think it was Macedonia. And then I think it was like 6 months later, Aussie Open, he's playing first round, main draw.
Yeah,
But it was like that for me.
like they're just wide different. Like, when did you last see Chris? So I
it
find
was a while ago.
Yeah, so I found it really cool. I saw him this year, and he has a tattoo of have you seen this? He's got a circle, because he's got OCD, so he's got like a half circle, so he's left a little bit of a gap, because it wants him to make him stronger mentally, to get over his OCD, So he hasn't finished his full circle on his tattoo. Yeah, so he wanted to beat it, because he used to always mess with his tennis, Always had everything to be perfect. So if the circle's not perfect, it made him mentally stronger, because I found that really cool.
That's cool.
Really?
Yeah, I found that so cool.
That would be
Yeah,
fucking the thing.
exactly. But that's how he wants to be. He wants to make him stronger, which I thought that was so cool. Like,
Win again for you. Hands it out.
Fucking circles everywhere. Just like. I think that's what I saw.
yeah, they're just wide different. The way they think is just so different.
Like, what are your weaknesses?
Weaknesses, I think I'm still getting better at being like consistent for me. I think there's days where sometimes I don't feel like doing something, and I sort of push back a little bit to take my foot off the pedal. But I think that those are the days where you should be practicing even more, But weaknesses, I mean, yeah, that's a good question. I don't really know what my weaknesses are at the moment.
What does your day-to-day look like?
My day-to-day is, at the moment I'm in pre-season, so I'm doing probably like 3 hours on court, and then an hour and a half of fitness, and then obviously stretching and recovery after that, so another 45 minutes. So pre-season's meant to be the biggest time of the year for me, because this is where you build the engine, and this is what's going to set me up for next year.
So how do you feel? Because it's like, man, you played over 100 games, so you spent.
Yeah.
Like, you just got back to, when did you get back to Australia? A couple of weeks ago?
Yeah. Oh, no, I was in
Melbourne.
Yeah. I was in Melbourne. Yeah, I was in Traralgon, yeah. I took a week off. I needed to take a week off and just like not think about tennis because, and it was really nice, you know, but I feel like I actually missed it in my week off. I missed it. I got like bored because I was so used to doing so much this year. Yeah. So I was sitting at home and I was just twirling my fingers and I was like, I want to do something, you know, I want to be active. So I think like I said, this is all like a still learning process for me. Like I feel like for me, I have to, every day I need to do exercise. That's the thing. Before I do anything, doesn't matter when, as long as I do it, mentally I'll feel better about myself. You know, and then I can get on with my day or whatever. But for me, yeah. But like I said, pre-season for 3-4 weeks, and then I'll go to Canberra. And then, when you go overseas, you don't really practice as much as you do when you're at home because you're constantly playing tournaments and there's no courts to practice on. I mean, and you're playing a tournament every week, so you don't really have time to
work.
Or spend time in the gym and all that stuff. Obviously, you do like little fix-ups and all that stuff. But
what's it like traveling with the coach?
So
I was listening to a podcast with Nick literally the other day.
Yeah.
And he's, he hasn't had a coach for a while.
He wanted to give himself an award.
Yeah. What was it? I can't remember what it was. It was funny. But what's it like? Find it hard or?
I think for me, because I've been playing tennis for so long, so I feel like the tennis side of things is okay for me. I know what I need to be working on and what I need to be doing. I think a coach, for me, I need more of like a fitness trainer / physio, just to maintain my body, I feel like. Because those are the things I lack on, as in like stretching after match and like doing recovery and like making your drinks before your matches and all that stuff. So I think for me, I mean, everyone's different. Everyone's got a different opinion, I guess. So like each to their own right now. But for me, a coach doesn't really help me at this stage. I mean, because I already, because I've been playing tennis for so long and I observe a lot of tennis players and all that. So I know what I need to be working on and how hard I need to be working. A coach usually is just stands there and supports you and motivates you to be there.
Did you ever coach prior?
What, sorry?
Did you ever coach prior?
I did for a few years. Yeah. It was good. Like he was very good, but he was also like a mentor to me. So he was there helping me, and he was like a physio as well to me. So he was helping me with everything. Yeah. He was a coach in one.
I think it's hard with finding a coach. I always found it difficult
because you gotta
gel with them.
Yeah, and
they gotta understand you as a player.
Yeah, and as a person outside the court.
Outside the court, like I've had a few coaches, and some I would connect with better than others. Some people I'd be able to like relate to, and sometimes you felt under pressure with some coaches. You felt scared of some coaches. I'm not sure how you were, but there was like. You were scared to lose, and then other coaches was like, it was okay to lose, but learn something from it. It's like a fine.
Yeah, you got to really gel with the coach.
Well, what's like Nick's reason? Like, cause Nick doesn't have a coach. What's his reason for it?
I mean, the guy's just so talented. I just don't really see what a coach would tell him. Really, I mean. Yeah. Like I said, he just needs someone to maintain his body. Like he's got his own physio. But a coach, I mean, the guy's so talented and he's happy with how he's playing. So he doesn't really, he's satisfied with where he is right now,
Well, fix that's not working.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably one of the most informed players.
I think he's the most talented tennis player ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talented, like most talented for sure.
That's why the most entertaining.
Yeah, and then you got like obviously Roger, that's unbelievably talented as well. Nadal's such a workhorse.
Yeah. It's meant like these guys. You can't even they have players like Federer and stuff. Who did he have? He had was it Ljubicic?
Yeah.
Was coaching him. What's Ljubicic going to teach him? And I think Federer beat every time he played. But now he's got. Yeah. It's like I think it's more like.
It's more having someone like you said. It's like
you understand.
Yeah, it's just small talks.
Players like Novak Agassi.
Like I would feel if I was a coach, how me standing on court with Novak.
Federer.
Hey, man.
What do you mean? You can't get nothing to teach these guys.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have like, they all have physios. Mm-hmm. They have like all this like
They've got,
industry.
they've got a good team around them for sure.
That's funny. Like, what's your predictions? Who's going to be up there for 2023? Like, who's like a dark horse on tour?
It's changed so much. Like, it's changing. It's actually good to see it change now. It's not like the big four again. Like, it's good to see like there's new kids coming, like Sinner, Alcaraz, like all these Berrettini and all those other guys. So it's good to see because you actually don't know who's going to win now. You used to always have Federer or Djokovic.
Yeah. Djokovic is he's coming back to the Aussie.
Yeah. So not sure. I'm actually not too sure. I think Nick's a good chance. I think Nick's a good chance.
Yeah.
I mean, I could play the best tennis of my life and play him in the final.
Imagine that.
Everyone's got to get down to your qualies.
Yep, qualies 14th, I think, of Oz Open. I should know this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's 14th or the 15th.
We'll be there with our flags, everything. Bananas will be there.
Yeah.
It'll be
So
really
good.
good.
So good.
That's insane. So pretty much alright. So just your prediction, like
my prediction to win at the Australian Open or
I think for yourself. Like go for yourself. Like where do you want to be? Where do you want to be by the end of the year ranking wise?
By this, I mean the year's next year. Sorry. Next year. Like I said, top 100. I think even to be quarterfinals of a Slam. You know, I mean, I just don't really. It's tough to really set a goal for me because I'm like sort of beating my goal this year. So I actually don't know what I can achieve and what I can't. So like, it's going to keep going. You know, and obviously, hopefully, I can play the top players next year. I'd love that. You know. But yeah, just to keep pushing and be main draw of Grand Slams and Masters events and all ATPs and all that. I think I'd be happy with that for sure.
What was it like? How do you feel like going back onto the tour? Like obviously seeing everybody again, you haven't seen it in 4 years.
Yeah.
How was that? And you know, is it just have you just kind of feeling like a glove again? And
I was a little bit nervous because I just wasn't sure what people would see me as and think of me. But like I said, people that know me outside tennis always thought I was a good kid, you know. So it was actually nice that they all were so welcoming and so supportive of me this year. And it just feels like I never really left, if I'm honest. Everything feels back to normal now, and it's such a nice feeling. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Well,
yeah.
Wrap up the final question. It's actually a bit of a buzzkill because we already kind of know the answer to this. But so someone's left you a question. And then you have to leave a question for the next guest. So the question that was left for you is, why are you wearing what you're wearing today? So pretty obvious answer.
I've just gotten back from training. So this is like the first thing that I've just chucked on. But yeah, I'll make sure next time to wear like my Louis Vuittons, my Givenchy shirt.
That was I think the point of the question. Was hoping that there was going to be some sort of
just a simple,
flair.
Just a simple guy, simple guy, just plugging away, mate.
That's alright. That's why when you walked in, I was like, fuck. We already know this guy's answer. But no, that's fine. You just gotta leave something for somebody else.
For who? For just? Is it
tomorrow?
I'll leave the question.
Tomorrow's like a finance guy.
Okay, so I'll leave a question for the finance guy.
Yes.
Do you guys want to help me out here, or?
It could be anything.
What got you into financing? And why are you wearing what you're wearing?
That's brilliant. Omar, you're a bloody legend. I'm home with this guy through like in gold chains and stuff. Like, give me something. But honestly, thank you, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
I really appreciate you jumping on, and as always, this has been bloody brilliant. I'm hoping round 3 in 12 to 18 months you're coming off a bloody Grand Slam.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll bring it in here. Celebrate. But
so good.
If anyone if anybody wants, Omar will have your channels down below,
Yep.
your Instagram, things like that, and
Yep.
you know, you can contact Omar and wish him all the very best for his year ahead. Don't abuse him. He gets enough of that.
Enough of that. Please.
But yeah, thank you for joining us, man.
No, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.